Here we go. Lifestyle investing, where we invest based off our lifestyle to build future lifestyle.
Build it up.
Mike, myself.
Jimmy in the house.
I know. That's a good color shirt, too.
I know.
I was going to
You would have
compliment.
fit in.
I
We
know.
had pastels on a couple weeks ago.
Did we have
Yeah,
pastels?
remember I was joking about looking like a couple Easter eggs.
You had the yellow and I had...
Yeah.
Or I had the
purple.
yellow.
Yeah.
You
I had the
purple.
light purple, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, who's our third egg?
Yeah, exactly. It's our third egg, Jimmy. So, yeah.
Jimmy's in the house.
Jimmy's in the house.
He's
I'll give
he-
the intro.
Yep. Get a quick intro and then we'll
I
hop
met
into
him
it.
through real estate. So he was working with somebody that I was partnering up with who was an agent who introduced me to him because he was doing a lot of property management and just wanted to meet him. I heard really good things about you and it was confirmed by your story. So I'm excited for you to share where you're at and about your life. And I know just based on our conversation before, there's a ton of stuff. So we might not even be able to get to all the stuff that you're doing. But yeah, dude, super excited to have you here. Grateful and just amazed by what you're doing too.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
Can I ask the first question?
Sure.
Cool. So we were talking before that senior in high school, I believe, you started apparel business?
Streetwear?
Streetwear.
Yep.
Um,
Jewelry is what it started out as.
Explain how that opportunity arose and how you captured it.
That would be 3 high school kids. We took somebody else's idea and made it more affordable. So
What was it?
the original company was Goodwood.
Okay.
So we kind of took what they were doing, which was engraving with a laser, little like almost like chains, because that was like the big thing back then.
Okay.
But they're wooden, and so
Nice.
then we also took a charity aspect where we would give a portion to a charity, and I believe there were 3 choices, so you got to choose which charity it would go to.
And it was Goodwood was the original company that you guys copied or got the idea from, and then you started the company called Streetwear.
It was called Domo Beads.
Domo Beads. And streetwear is a category?
Yes.
Okay. It's just I'm too old to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you asked that question too.
Yeah, well, I'm not afraid to ask the question. I'm a little embarrassed that I'm getting older, but I'm also grateful because the opposite of getting older is
I'm
not.
just thinking about wear, like streetwear,
Yeah.
sportswear,
Yeah.
swimwear,
Yeah.
like wear.
Where?
Yeah.
Like Zoomies attire and like
Okay.
skateboarding and that kind
Okay.
of stuff. So
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm with it.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so Domo was the name. And it
Well,
was
well,
okay.
first of all, where did you see this idea from? You just saw like this company going on right now, or like it was a buddy of yours, you saw it on internet, Facebook, and they're like, hey, I'm going to replicate this?
So it was
Like
big on
how-
Reddit. So
Reddit.
What is Reddit?
Yeah, explain Reddit.
No, I'm just kidding.
okay.
Do you need help on Reddit?
What?
You don't know what Reddit is?
I know what Reddit
Okay,
is.
me too. But
I was talking about the old guy. Anyways, keep going.
yeah, okay.
So Reddit.
Johnny's the old guy.
we just kind of found a problem and then fixed it. So the problem with Goodwood was it was too expensive for all these high school kids, which is your market, because
Right, they were like
you don't really
$40 a
see
piece or something.
40-year-olds with like
Yeah.
wooden chain necklaces and
Right.
stuff. So
Well, you do, but they're creeps.
yeah. So the market was the high school kids.
Well, they're 22 and they haven't got out of high school. Anyways.
Yeah,
Well, there's something
exactly. Yeah.
Mhm. So it's just you got to find that market, and that was a cheaper alternative to it. So
How much were you guys able to manufacture them for?
cheap, man. It was like $1.16 for most of the
A
stuff.
piece?
Just to make
And
them.
what was it?
We sold them for like $19.99. Some of them were like $30.
That's a
Goodwood
perfect
was selling
price.
for like $70.
Whoa. And what were they made of?
Good
So
wood.
string. No, so like when you go to like a Hobby Lobby or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
just the like wooden round beads.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you would just bead those and you would tie it, and that would just be a bracelet. But then you would put something like customized with the laser engraver. Our first laser engraver sucked. It was terrible. So we ended up getting a better laser engraver. But I mean, there would be skulls, there would be Jesus
on each
pieces,
bead,
there
on
would
each
be
bead, or on each bead.
No. So
I'm imagining
streetwear,
the
like,
string of.
so it's like a string of beads,
Yeah.
and you just have all of them. But then, like in the center of the bracelet, you would have like one little like skull or something, or
Okay.
every other bead it would be a skull, or
Yeah,
it'd
and
just
that's
be.
more expensive. You know, it's more detailed.
Those are actually the
more
cheap
expensive.
ones. So the
Oh, really?
we'd have like big pieces with like an elephant or a wolf or a bear, and
Okay.
the piece would be like this big,
Oh,
and then we
okay,
would
that
do-
was the laser.
They would be painted, so you
Okay.
paint like different colors, so it'd be like red and white and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That is cool.
Like a panda, we had a panda that was black and white, and then that one I
Nice.
think was like $39.99, and all
Okay.
it was just wood. We would literally get like a piece of wood this big. It was like about that thick, and then you would just have laser engraver and print off like whatever you wanted. So you'd have like 20 pandas, and then you'd print them out, and then you'd sand them, you'd stain them, and then we had 6 employees that would just sit there and just bead all these strings, and then they'd tie them. Not tight, and they just hang them on the inventory wall, and then you would just come tie it and then package it and ship it out.
And it was getting sold online through what?
It started out in the Northtown Mall in Tacoma.
Okay.
So we just had like a little booth in the middle of the mall.
Dude,
Just kind of like
that's hustling.
Just grinding, yeah. Like the creeps that like everybody tries to kind of like.
Yeah. Hey, listen to my album. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that was us, and then it kind of progressed and went online, and that's where Reddit came in and just kind of pushed it on Reddit, and the Reddit crowd just blew it up.
Awesome.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then based on what we heard earlier, and I knew this story from previous, it was a family thing and it kind of went sour. Talk about that as much as you want, only to help people understand if you're going to get into something with family, how do you need to protect yourself, or looking back, what could you have done?
It's actually happened to me a couple times
now.
Oh yeah, yep. So it's been a couple times that you really got to learn young that it has to be in a contract when it's business related, because I mean, it's crazy.
We're family.
Yeah.
What do you need a contract for?
Yeah, 16 kids having fun. My best friend now was also in on it, and he's also out of it now. So definitely get your contracts together, know what you're doing. So my cousin, his parents own like just a ton of RV dealerships, and so they were very experienced in what they did.
And the legal part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, then that kind of went south, and then on to the next.
Right. And then you said it happened again? There was something else that happened? Where you got screwed over, or somebody messed with you?
It's just, another one. Probably not going to talk about that one.
Okay, you don't have to.
But
in my experience in life, the pain is what sticks with me. You know, like when I come across the next experience, a perfect example, I messed up big time recently at work. And it was on stuff that I was not very experienced with, and it cost people money and time. And so it hurt so bad that now, every time I encounter anything that even resembles that, I take the extra 5 minutes and do my due diligence, where before it wasn't even coming up on my radar. Yeah. So their pain as a teacher, if I can make one $2,000 mistake, now I don't have to make $1 million mistake later, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you definitely learn. It was good learning there instead of something else.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, on a real estate deal or something like that, where it could have been huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But the worst part is it's family, so that kind of slashed through that. So it is, in that aspect, not great. But
I mean, if there's somebody out there that is coming up on a deal, or a family member says, "Will you go into business with me?" Do you think that's a good idea?
If you get a contract, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't take long to get a contract. Right. I mean, you could. I mean, it'd be nice to go to a lawyer and have him write it up, but I mean, just write something up.
Yeah.
So that way you're, and then the other benefit of that is the fact that you have a spelled out contract. So I have 3 real estate companies, because with real estate you want to separate, and so each person that I'm with, I have a separate company with them. Each one has an operating agreement, because it literally spells out everything you're supposed to do, and if you don't do it, then you're kind of accountable. So you can't really, it's not really a friend. Like if I do it with a best friend, that way you don't screw up your relationship because of business. You have it all laid out, like, okay, I know what's expected. Like when you have a bad roommate and somebody doesn't clean, like you get angry at them. So take that into business and just get it
put it in a contract. And we've had that with at least one of our guests. We're talking about every time they do a new build, or every time they buy another flip, or whatever, they do another actual whole business. Because it's like, hey, is this one a 70-30? Is this one a 50-50? Is this a 60-40? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I totally agree too with that, because like even with my swimwear business, it's with my cousin family as well. But I have like a 30-page, doc exactly explaining everything down to like what everyone's gonna do, who's gonna ship out the stuff, who's gonna, because like Jimmy said, like you have to be exactly clear on what's going down.
And I think there's peace in that, because it lets you know, okay, here's what I'm supposed to do. If they're not doing it, you can bring it up, because it's hard to bring up something already, and then if you don't have anything to show for it, it's even harder. But if you can say, hey, dude, right here, it says that you're going to do this and you're not doing it, so what's going on?
Keeps everything balanced.
And so we talked a little bit about before the show how you got into rehab or to real estate. And it was yeah, you had to get into rehab, man.
Yeah, been there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Real estate, yeah. So how did you get into the real estate game? Because you're talking about Spokane, Tacoma. Like how did these opportunities align, and how'd you get it?
So Spokane, got my degree in something completely irrelevant, and my girlfriend actually was the one that got me on the real estate train, because she was talking about, she listens to a bunch of podcasts and everything, reads a bunch of books on real estate and money management, everything like that, because she's a business major. And so she was talking about, like, hey, let's get a duplex and live in one side and then rent out the other side. They pay for what we're living in and then move out, and you have 2 rentals and move on to the next. And so I was like, whoa, that's brilliant. And so then I kind of just latched onto that and said, well, we've got the markets, and found out from my best friend, because my girlfriend and I went to I don't know if I can like say different things for copyright reasons.
Oh, okay.
But one of those seminars that they put on for real estate. And
you can. I mean, as long as they're not going to be upset with you on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Fan Merrill's Fortune Builders is what we did.
Okay.
So we just went and sat in on the free seminar and everything, and he kind of gives you what you need, like the recipe, but doesn't give you kind of like what you, I don't know, the Yellow Brick Road. So it's kind of like, here you go, here's some like Scooby snacks, and then
so buy my
thing for $15,000, and you can get like the actual.
Yeah. Take out a home equity line on your house to buy my real estate thing.
Yeah. Or buy it on credit card. Credit card's better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
you get points.
Oh yeah, you do get points. What would they classify it as? It's not gasoline. It's not groceries.
No.
Like what
pyramid. It's triangles.
Triangles.
Yeah, it's Doritos. It's groceries.
It is groceries.
Yeah.
I think that's 2% back.
Yeah, it is.
Dude,
that's good.
That's a great deal.
Solid.
Nice. Anyways, keep going.
So girlfriend got me into it. We went to the Thrive thing, and then we found out from my one of my best friends that his future, well, they're actually married now. So he got married to a woman, Savannah, whose dad is actually over here in Tacoma.
John.
Yeah, John.
Okay,
yeah. Oh, yeah, John.
John.
Yeah.
Who's in Egypt? Or was?
Yep.
Yeah, right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So that's how we found out about her dad, and that he owns apartments over here, like lots of apartments, and that they had a property management job available. And so I actually got told that I wouldn't get the job because there was somebody that was a higher candidate and everything like that, but ended up getting the job. Had to move over to Tacoma in a week. From Spokane. I had to pack up all my stuff in like 2 days and drive over here.
And you had a free apartment, right? Because you were going to be the property manager?
Yep, got a free apartment.
Nice.
Girlfriend had to stay back in Spokane for another year to graduate.
Oh,
So that was tough, but we got through that. So
yeah.
Wow.
And then
that is cool.
At that point, did you guys own a duplex yet?
So we had our first duplex in Spokane, yes.
Okay.
And then we came here and we got our, well, not, I guess I'm skipping ahead, sorry.
Okay, no, just take it at your own pace. I want to hear the whole thing.
So, started property management for SNR Northwest Properties. They had like 250 to 300 units, somewhere in there.
In the same complex that you were managing? Or just all around?
Yeah, multiple complexes,
Makes sense.
houses, a bunch of different stuff. So did that and lived in the property, and it was in the worst area of Tacoma.
Off of Pacific
between 76th and 72nd.
Dude, there's a really good Mexican restaurant over there.
There is.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite, if it's the same one.
What's the name of it?
Huelva a la Vida.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fajita burrito.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. It's popping?
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's really good.
On the list.
Yep, but
and that's like at Pacific and 60 something, right?
Yeah, that's farther down, so that's more of a safe area, I would say. Oh, okay. I had 2 knives pulled on me. And
were they real or were those play ones?
Knives, I had one that actually lunged at me.
Whoa.
And I dove in the door, and the tenant, because that was a whole big thing, but I watch these like self-defense videos and stuff, like active self-protection, and so, because I'm living in the hood, and like it's bad.
Real estate can be a dangerous game.
It's really bad.
Active self-protection, I've never heard of that before. Yep. Is that like streetwear?
No. That's like self-protection videos. So he kind of goes over like scenarios where it's like an active shooter, and you watch the video, and he'll actually like tell you what you should have done or what you could have done, or the different steps to be like better suited for it.
Wow.
And really helped because I was really, this guy just had his hood up and it just kind of gave me the wrong feeling. He walked off Pacific and I'm just talking to a tenant. He's kind of mumbling to himself with his head down, comes behind about 6 feet, and I kind of opened up to him so I could keep my eyes on him. So the tenant is back here and my back's up against the wall next to the door. And he comes and sits down on the driveway ledge, and he just sits there, and he's kind of mumbling, and I'm just sitting there, and then he just darts at me, and just boom, right into the wall, because I spun and dove into the guy's room, and the guy's closing it, and the guy was like, I'm going to effing kill you, and tried kind of getting through the door, the tenant's closing it, and then he just ran down Pacific, and the cops didn't find him.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, that is
I told them to call me
sketchy.
if they found him, but
Yeah.
nothing.
Wow.
So that was one, and then another one was we went into a house that I was interested in buying, like completely run down. The door was closed by a bungee cord, and so there were two guys with their bikes in there, and he came out with like a deer knife. So that was
Motorcycles? They had motorcycles?
No,
Oh,
just
bicycles?
bikes. Yeah,
Bicycles.
came out with
Yeah,
a deer knife.
bicycles.
Just boom. And so that was one, and then there was a shootout at the Arco, I think was what it was. So I was getting gas there. Gosh. So, yeah.
Gratitude.
Never had any of this happen in Spokane. And
Yeah,
then come over here.
although
It's just like my mom
Spokane
was.
is kind of a little bit rough as far
I
as
haven't
people
told my
talk
mom about that stuff. So
Okay.
she didn't want me to come
Sorry,
over here in
Mom.
the first place.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, Tacoma.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so you're doing property management. You're learning the game a little bit, right?
You're diving away from knives.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that seminar, that $15,000 seminar, was able to teach you some self-defense.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be nice.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I did not get that.
That's good.
The fan barrel $25,000 inner circle thing.
God damn.
People,
That's 5 houses.
yeah,
A lot of people do it.
yeah, and inexperienced people with money get separated from their money. I mean, that's unfortunately the way of the business world.
Sure, it has its benefits
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Probably learn
you
something.
can do it.
but it's like the gold rush. The people who were making money during the gold rush weren't the guys digging for gold. It was the people selling the axes, or like the pickaxes and the shovels and stuff. It was the guys in the town, like,
That's
oh, you want to
true.
make some money on gold? Here's some stuff. So it's the same concept today.
It is.
With that
Mhm.
knowledge.
You have
It
those
is
courses
cheap.
now.
Yeah.
So now fast forward, you're getting some knowledge now.
Got some knowledge. Yep,
Mhm.
and then
You know how to deal with tenants.
You do?
Yeah, definitely know how to deal with tenants, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
And then I got my first house. So my first house,
And still kept the duplex.
he sold the duplex.
Oh, okay.
So sold the duplex, got a house. Did not actually get the house from the duplex, so that was after. So
Oh, okay.
at the time kept it, but later on then sold it. But
Mhm.
have the house and the duplex and the house itself. I ended up getting my car, which was a Nissan 350Z, and I had that for 4 years. It was like my baby and everything.
Yeah.
Sold it and bought a 1996 Toyota Camry with
Nice.
about 8 inches of water in the trunk, mold, moss, everything good.
Dave Ramsey would be proud of you.
He would be proud of you.
So, yeah, I've got that thing and bought my house with the money. So
Dude,
that
that's
was
awesome. You
big
put the
time.
minimum down, like 3% down.
But 5% down for
5%.
conventional. Yep.
Okay.
Smart.
Nice. Yeah.
Smart. And then you guys moved in, and then your girlfriend moved over from Spokane, right?
Yep. So I'm not gonna lie, the house was terrible. So the house had mold, mildew, roaches.
Still passing appraisal?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Conventional. Yeah.
I don't even think the guy went in.
I know,
so
it's that kind of market.
he just kind of drove around
Yeah.
the outside and was like, oh, this is great because
Yeah.
the outside looked great, inside no.
Mhm. And this would have been what year? Just for
Last September.
last September.
Mhm.
Okay, nice. So pretty recent.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I have to live in it for a year in order to do that 5% down instead of 25% because if it's a rental property, it needs to be 25%. Which I'm
And
sure
we know
you
about that. And we both came from the banking world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're still in it.
So
Yeah,
Or the
and it
mortgage.
came from it too. I haven't left. Oh my god!
Oh, shit.
Since 2004, yeah.
I know.
Banking.
That's a
It's
while.
crazy.
Wow.
But it's cool. It
It
means
is.
I've run across most scenarios
Oh, you have.
until I run into one that costs me money and time. And yeah.
Next week you run into
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. I'll be an expert by the time I quit.
Yeah, so for the college kids that
Yeah,
don't have
exactly.
any money, yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely. I hear all the time, like, oh, you need 20% for a house. I don't have 20%. It's like,
No.
no,
Yeah,
you don't need 20. You can do 3%
Yeah,
if you
3%.
want.
You can do 0 down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's available. I teach the classes, so yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of cool ways to get you in a house, but the thing is, you got to be smart about it
Yeah.
because I mean, as you know, interest. It's all
Yeah.
stacked up front, and then
Yep.
the banks say, "Oh, come on, refinance," and then it
Yeah.
restarts the
Restart
cycle.
it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're never paying your principal.
You're paying like double
Yeah.
what the house is actually
So,
worth.
so where did you find the deal? And then.
Alexis.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Alexis
we
found
took
that one.
partners.
We were looking forever because I wanted like a bad house, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to flip it, and so we looked forever for one, and then finally it was just a guy that had a tenant in it and hadn't seen it for like 6 years, I think. Hadn't seen
Wow.
it inside and didn't want her to know that he was selling it. So nobody was allowed in. Nobody was allowed to see it before they
Oh,
put an
yeah,
offer
is
in
that
and everything.
legal?
Is that legal?
To do what?
To put your house on the market without letting your tenant know?
Mm-hmm.
That's legal?
I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't have to let your tenant know.
Okay.
We don't let any of our apartment tenants know. I mean, so until like it's already sold, and you send
Well,
out a
yeah, you
letter
have
saying
to-
like, "Hey, it's been sold. Here's your new management company."
Oh, right. But I mean, say if they're renting a house, you have to give them 30 days notice.
If you're
to
gonna kick them
back.
out.
If you
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Oh,
Okay. So they're
okay.
gonna stay in the
So that was the situation. So he had listed it and everything, and so
To sell as an investment.
just to sell. He didn't
Oh, okay.
care.
He didn't
and
care.
so
yeah.
he was just trying to get rid of it. I think he owned like 100 and some properties, like his dad owned. So he was just trying to liquidate everything.
Jeez.
So didn't want to disturb the
in the
person,
future.
and so what ended up happening is I put an offer in on it, super low, because I mean he hadn't even seen it, so I'm sure he didn't really care. He took it, and then I got to see inside of it. It was awful, but it was awesome because
There was
like,
8
"Sweet,"
inches of
like,
water in the
I got
trunk.
it for cheap. And
yeah.
yeah,
Just like the Camry.
yeah, the cockroaches scurrying around. Like,
nice.
Yep. So the
And
problem
she was alive. The
Lady?
tenant.
tenant was growing like marijuana in there. Like
Oh,
it
it was an income producing property.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So it
Oh,
it
so
had
it's-
water, it had water
Not
damage,
bad.
like everything you
Yeah,
can
the
think of.
hydroponics.
Yeah, so I had to do everything through it, gutted it. But
And you have people for that? Like, do you have
no,
trusted
so
people?
here's
or-
another thing too.
Okay, good.
So
yeah.
Steve, my boss
Steve
and
and
mentor,
Roy, yeah, right. Yeah,
he said, "You." Oh, sorry.
it's okay.
Sorry, Mike.
Just give me a reminder.
Yep.
You get excited.
Yeah, I know.
So
See, that's
he
why there
told
was a
me
limit.
I had to do it all myself to
Okay.
learn. So that way, when I have
Oh, dude, yeah, that's right.
so when I have people to manage that are doing it for me,
You know.
I know what stuff is worth. So
Yeah.
labor-wise, they can't say, "Oh, well, doing the floors it'll take 20 hours or whatever it would take 100 hours," and it's
When
like,
you
no,
know.
it's not that hard.
Yeah,
man."
you've done it, dude. That's
It
really
is pretty.
smart.
So
Yeah,
it's hard when you have to rip all the subfloor out. I didn't know about that, and then I had my little crowbar thing, just ripping it out. And they use usually they use nails, they use screws. So
Oh, damn.
and they were so old that you couldn't like get them out.
So it just ripped out the floor.
So I had to tear out an entire.
Did you try a
1,000 square foot house
jackhammer?
of-
Did you try the jackhammer? No.
No, just cranked it out. Yeah, had
Really?
some good back workout. Yeah.
Wow.
So then you took out the subfloor because
Yep.
it was screwed.
Yeah, put in all the floors.
What's
put in
under the subfloor?
studs?
Oh, okay, yeah. Crazy. So just beams.
And so that's another thing too, is that once you actually do this for yourself, you figure out how simple a house really is.
Yeah.
It's like foundation. You have people come pour the concrete, then you do the framing, then you do the, the walls,
The
and
insulation and yeah.
insulation. Super
I
simple.
know, dude. And this is gonna sound kind of effed up, but I know it can't be that hard because I've worked with so many construction company owners, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking dumb. Like, how are you making $2
It's
million
really-
a year?
Really simple.
But it's because they're willing. Here's the biggest thing that I understand about stepping out is getting past the fear. Getting past the fear of saying, that's not me, that's not my family, that's not what I do, that's not what we do, and just doing it. And that's just like anything in life. It's taking that step because even though I'm saying the $2 million guy is dumb, he's smarter than me because he's making $2 million. So in some ways, he was basically, he didn't even take the time to think about how I couldn't do this and just went and did it.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to talk crap when I'm not building it. But the point is, there's a lot of things in life that are easier than we think because I build them up to be this magical, mysterious thing so I don't have to try and fail. It's really the fear of failure is what's behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, my big thing is speaking in public, and I'm absolutely horrified right now.
Okay,
so
well, you're fighting it.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm doing it as best I can.
Dude,
so.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we have loving fans that watch us.
We do actually.
Yeah, so
we got a
nobody's
really
gonna
good
judge you.
comment recently.
What was it?
They were like, thanks so much for interviewing these business owners in Pacific Northwest or something. Like you had great value. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Where I was like, it's not a bad comment.
Awesome.
I know. It's like shit.
Yeah.
Talking about that. Oh. All right. Next question. Why real estate? I know you said your girlfriend kind of poked you into it. You guys went to some seminars and whatnot, but there's got to be like an end goal. There's got to be a mission that you're going on. Your why,
Fleet of rentals.
like what's the game plan?
A fleet of rentals.
For why?
Because we want to be able to do kind of whatever we want to do. So we want to have that freedom of cashing in a $4,000 check every month. So my Steve, my old boss, he would let me do meetings with a Millionaire. It was part of my contract. So every 3 months working for him, he would set me up with one of his multimillionaire friends, and I got to ask them any questions I wanted for an hour.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
That's
ton of
huge.
knowledge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Well, I'm actually curious about this. Well, what are some like the big trends or even patterns that they were all saying, or even like a couple things where you're like, I never thought about that, or something maybe a little abstract where people don't really talk about?
I mean, it's kind of all the same of just never give up and work as hard as you possibly can, because the thing you're going to learn about doing your own thing and running your own business is it's a lot of work. So a lot of people think, oh, well, if I'm not working for someone, I'm going to have the freedom and it's going to be easy, and it's not. It's a lot, because I'm on my own now doing everything, and it's a lot harder than picking up a paycheck and just it's
Clock it in. Yeah.
40 hours a week, and now you're working 70, 80 hours a week, and you have to do everything. You have to do all your financials, you have to do all your taxes, like it's just for the company and you personally.
Right,
so it's
that's
double,
true.
and it's just a lot of work.
So yeah, dude, that's crazy how simple it is, but how very few people are willing to do it.
It is. It's the hard work aspect.
Yeah, it's working
And
hard
the
and never
fear.
giving up.
People have a fear of like there's no financial security of paycheck, and then all of a sudden to be like, okay, here I go.
Right.
So the way to do that is, the way that I got income to kind of let me do that was through Airbnb. I'm managing apartment complexes units as an Airbnb host. So I'm a super host, and I get 15% of whatever they get, and it's usually double what they would make in rent.
Can you kind of walk us through how this experience started? Like did you travel someone you were like, oh, Airbnb is pretty dope, maybe I could just do this as side income, and then you hit someone up? Like how did this all go about?
For Airbnb?
Yeah. Because I mean, you hear a lot of people like buying a property and then Airbnb out the property. Like it seems pretty simple, but doing what you're doing, I think is a little bit more unique.
Yeah. So it was actually through Steve. So Steve had the idea to do Airbnb for his apartment complex, and then I used that because I had to do everything. So I was like, he just
He said, hey, here's what I want to do. Go do it.
Yeah, I want to do an Airbnb, and you figure it out. So I had to figure it out. I figured out what to do. I figured out how to build my reputation. I figured out how to make sure that I got everything done. I staged the rooms, got all the stuff, and then now I can do it for everybody. So the cool thing about Steve and this job that I had was the knowledge that I gained from it. So I just learned and took everything. That's another thing too, be a sponge. So a lot of those millionaires said you can't have that like pride ego scenario where you just kind of, I don't care because I already know. It's like even if you know a bunch of stuff, you can always still learn things. I mean, I know quite a bit about real estate, and I really want to like talk about it right now, but I know we don't have enough time. But I mean, like UCX and RCX zoning, where you don't have to pay taxes for 8 to 12 years, property taxes, 0. So 0 property tax. It's just high density. So that's some of our big apartments, you're saving $1 million a year on that.
Wow.
Like if you were gonna
Like our huge.
own 10 duplexes or a 20 unit apartment complex, you'd save money by doing the 20 unit complex kind of thing. Is that what you mean? Is that where the savings comes from?
No, he's saying change the zoning.
So no, you don't change it. So you locate properties that are in a certain zone. So
Right.
when you go onto Pierce County's website, you can look up all the properties on the dark map. And so if you go onto the dark map, you'll pull up the zoning, and so you look for UCX and RCX. So my house that I have that I just flipped, well, not really flipped, but I live in it right now, and then I move out in September and then rent. And so that one's in the UCX zone. So they have the 20-year plan in Tacoma, and that's another thing. Always know what's going on if you're going to be in real estate.
How do you do that? City council meetings or planning meetings? Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and just listen to all these big wigs around me.
Yeah.
And so the 20-year plan for Tacoma, it's going to blow up. And so UCX zoning, where my house is that I got it, is right by the Tacoma Mall. And so they have the Tacoma Mall revamp project, which they're going to put like just tons in there. And so eventually my plan is somebody's going to come and buy me out, because one of those huge, like downtown, the Henry and all that stuff, one of those is going to come in there and say, oh, UCX zone. And they're going to say, they're going to buy those all up, and everybody's going to say, oh, great, like they're buying my house for $300,000, when in reality your house is really worth like $500,000 if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Because
say,
there's no taxes.
yeah, because if you say like, I know what this is valued because you're going to save this much money on your taxes because you just they put a high density. So the city, it's problem areas of Tacoma.
Okay.
So that's why we had all those apartments over in the Pacific Ave area, because the city of Tacoma wants Tacoma to be revamped. They want to bring in better crowds like the Seattle crew into these nice apartments, into these problem areas, because then that pushes that native crowd out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why they're revamping a Hilltop, right? Why they put a lot new.
So
a lot of
UCX
those
zoning and RCX zoning. Yep.
Yeah.
So
And does that mean you're not paying property taxes on it, or eventually it will?
no, so it's a density thing. So it's for they'll say per square foot you have to have 2 people per whatever acre. It's
To
just
get the RCX?
to get the tax exemption.
So it's still zoned as
So
the UCX or RCX, but because it's a single family, you don't get to have the benefit.
Correct.
But once they put a multifamily in there, it will be.
Yeah, because you're trying. The city's trying to bring in better clientele.
Yes,
So with a
so
house, it's
yeah,
like
okay.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you reach the density, so on my lot, let's say they require a density of six units. So
Okay.
you have to put a sixplex on like a single family lot. So I think my lot, I can't remember. It's either 8,000 or I think it's 6,000. You can do like a narrow lot, but usually it's 10,000. You can have 2 properties on it. So
Okay.
you could put like 2 threeplexes if it was 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And so with that, then you've met the density, then you apply with the city to get the tax exemption. And once you have that tax exemption, then it's dependent on what it is, but it's either 8 or 12 years that you don't pay property
Dude, that's
taxes.
awesome. Yeah.
So
And that's kind of like what Jan was talking about with arbitrage of like Seattle is changing their SFF or single family 5,000 to a low rise 1. Basically, so he was buying, this guy that we had on here was buying the people's houses that were not very nice, but for 500, and then immediately flipping them to commercial builders because of the zoning change. Because he's been doing he stays up all night reading zoning and he goes to all the city council, but it's that gathering information, looking at the future.
yeah. So here's
and
another
flipping it.
fun fact for everybody. So if you are planning on buying property, it's a lot harder now in like Tacoma, but I mean if you go over to Spokane where the real estate market's not so hot, what you do is you look for double lots. So you buy a house that's on 2 lots, then
so here's the lot line and the house is sitting right on top of it, and it's 2. Is that what you mean?
So you'll have so you'll have kind of like a house on like half of a lot, and then another on this side, but it's all one lot. And then you go to
Same parcel, right?
Yeah.
Same parcel, but 2 properties, 2 houses.
No, just one.
No, one house.
Oh, okay.
And then what you do is you go to the city, and so I had to do this too. So Steve, I was like his personal assistant and property manager and just everything you could possibly think of. So I did all the permits too. Yeah,
nice.
so
Okay.
I did all the permitting, and I would, so I learned how to do that. So you subdivide You go into the city, you have to do a big permit. Well, it's not that big, but most of them were really big. But this one was simple. You just go do a boundary line adjustment, a BLA, and you just put that line over. Usually, if it's like in the middle of the house, then you can just push it, and so then it will line up right in the middle, and then you build a new lot. So you rent this one out and then sell this one.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
you want to look for things like that because, especially in this kind of market where, I mean, everything's really expensive.
Yeah.
So you're not going to really find a whole lot of deals like that. But if you can find like sneaky things where you get 2 lots for the price of 1, then...
Well, and it's 1 lot, but the lot's big enough for you to cut it in half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
if it's 10,000 square feet.
Okay, then you can do 2 5s because in the SFR, or why can't I say that? SFR, single family resident, SFR 5. There's another sneaky thing that I heard of lately, and it was an agent who was doing this, and he just closed on 2 of them, but he's buying houses in the Midwest, like around Chicago, that area, like the outskirts, suburbs, for like $20,000. I mean, he's going, and then his rent is paying his mortgage.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, it's just like he's accumulating houses for super cheap. I mean, basically, you can even buy them cash at that level if you're saving up to do it. But he's getting loans on them, and then the rent's way more than paying his mortgage.
Yeah.
Maybe doubling it. And maybe the mortgage is only $450, and he's getting, $800 or $900 a month rent for a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in some parts of our country, it's like that right now.
A lot of the guys that, like Dom, like I was saying, he does that as well. So he started doing that, where he just picks them up, and he's like, he just got like a 4-plex for $50,000.
Yeah.
It's like,
And where? It's like somewhere in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it's out there.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of, at least in this area, you can be blinded by the fact that you can't get anything for less than $250. I mean, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a client who was coming over for work from Texas, and they had just sold their pretty cool house in some part of Texas for $80,000 or $78,000. So they're coming up here and they're looking, and they want to stay around $220, and they have to go to Yelm. I mean, seriously, that's where they're out because that's just what it is.
Yeah,
but
another option.
No, but it's just wild. Like coming from Texas, where it was a pretty decent house for $80,000, and up here, there's no way.
Same as Spokane. You live in a mansion for $250,000. Here,
Crazy.
I got my turd house for like $150,000.
Yeah.
And it's worth already like $260, $270.
Dude, that's
so
nice.
It's just crazy.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I've only put $15,000 into it.
Yeah.
Because I did everything myself.
Yeah, you did all the work. Yeah, that's the point.
But when you have a year, I mean,
Yeah.
girlfriend wasn't too happy when she didn't have a toilet. So I had to put that in real quick.
Yeah, that was the first thing.
She came in and was like, okay, we need a toilet.
Yeah. I know we got to wrap it up soon, and dude, I definitely want to have you back in a couple months if you're not too shook up by this experience.
Yeah, now that we're almost done.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of
Now
feeling
I
relaxed.
feel
Now I want to like
comfortable.
talk.
I do have one last question.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Do you have one?
No, I mean, dude, you've been asking amazing questions, so I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've been asking a lot of questions.
It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like we just need to get together with Jimmy more often anyway.
100%.
We can all learn a lot.
So this is my question. I keep hearing this word Steve. Steve. Can you explain like the importance of a mentor and also the importance of being a good mentee?
Mm-hmm. So a mentor is everything, I would say, because without Steve, I would have no idea what I'm doing. And so in that sense, I would be just like everybody else and just kind of trying to wing it. And I know with the confidence levels and things that you're doing, so it's like, okay, I'm getting paychecks and there's no real need for me to go out and do something. And so
that's what we heard from Glenn. Remember, we had a guy who had a trucking company, and he would never have started it if his current contract where he was getting a paycheck wouldn't have ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what happened to me. So Steve, wonderful Steve. So and here's another thing you gotta know is businessmen are businessmen, and they go for the lowest amount of money that they can spend possible. Yeah. And so even if I'm his ultimate mentee, and he's like, I go to like their Christmases and everything like that. See ya. Like you cost too much money.
But
I'm still gonna mentor you, but like I can't pay you anymore.
Yeah. Right.
He's like, you should be doing your own stuff anyway.
Dude,
and
which is great.
Now I'm doing my own stuff.
And so that the second part of Bernie's question about like how do you stay personally as that good mentee?
Exactly.
Yeah. Sounds like don't get offended.
You gotta be a sponge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't be offended. And you gotta be able to take criticism too. So I had a lot of baseball and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of like failure, and so that helped me a lot because you fail a lot.
Yeah, even if in baseball, even if you're 30%, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So
Yep, you just got to be able to fail, and you got to keep working. You can't be afraid to fail. So, I mean,
Man, how many times have we heard that? And that we just keep driving that home. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Failure is going to happen if you go try something. But what's worse? Stepping out there and hitting your head and learning which way is right, or not going at all.
And that's what he did too. Is he forced me to do it. So when you have a mentor or even a friend or a girlfriend or whatever, they can push you to do stuff. Then that helps you a lot, because I wouldn't have done it until he says you have to do it. Like, you have to do this. Okay, go out and do this on your own. Then you have to.
Yeah.
Or sorry, you no longer have a job. It's like, okay, go do your thing. It's like, all right, I guess I'll go do my thing.
Yeah.
But he knew that I could do my own thing. So,
Right.
He's still my mentor.
How did he become your mentor? I know you started working for him, but just working for somebody.
Best friend's fiance at the time, his dad.
Okay.
So I came over to Tacoma.
Yeah.
Because of the job that he had, and so my girlfriend's best friend is his wife, who is the daughter of Steve, and then I'm her husband's best friend.
But I mean, how did you go from employee to being, or him being your employer to him being your mentor? Because that's two different things, right? Because you came over being just an employee of his.
So
and then
you force them to be your mentor.
You forced him.
You literally a sponge. I mean, it's not like you say, "Hi, I'm your mentor now." Like, it's not like how that works. You're a sponge. You just, and I negotiated in my contract, like, that's what I said too. It's like, I have a biology degree, a biotechnology degree. I can get paid a lot more to do that than I can do to run your apartments, and so I want something in return. Like, I'm trying to build myself, and I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do my own thing. I want to do real estate. Like, that's the whole point of here. And that's what I said in the interview. It's like, I want to learn. And so he's like, when he decided to give me the job, it's like, here's what we'll do. We'll have you sit down with one of my buddies that's a multimillionaire every 3 months, and to keep you just coming back. I told him flat out, I said, if I'm not learning, I'm gone. Like,
wow.
Because
so put the demand. Find somebody you want to be like and put the demand on them. If they're not willing, then it's not the right fit.
Yeah, and actually do it.
Yeah.
Actually.
And be a sponge.
Yeah.
And when they tell you to go do permits and you have no idea what you're doing, and if you screw up, you postpone like an apartment build for 3 months. That's a lot of money you've just screwed up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you fail, you fail, but try not to fail.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Well, that's all I got.
Okay.
Do you want to wrap it up, or?
I do have one thing to say too.
Yes.
So I also have a buddy, and we have just actually created my new Facebook, where I'm literally just going to be giving out all the information ever, because that was the one rule of Steve, was that if he's going to give me all this knowledge, then the one rule is that I have to pass on the knowledge to my own mentee.
Well, you just started right now.
Wow.
And so we actually put together a Facebook, and it's Emerald Insiders, but it's not really up yet.
Okay. Emerald Insiders.
Emerald Insiders. We'll put it in the notes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'll be giving out
when are you starting? When are you starting us roughly?
Probably middle of July.
And can I message and ask questions and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll be the one doing it. So
okay.
I'll have to
I'll just text
people.
You. Yeah,
exactly. If somebody's doing like a flip and they,
yeah.
they can come see our flips. They can do a bunch of different stuff. There are courses that I have access to that. Whatever people want. So
dude,
that was the rule, is I have to help out. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, that is awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's that cycle of really confidence in being alive and not being so afraid. Because so many things in today, the media and the news and the whatever is going on in your world can bring you down. It's so awesome to have this light. It's like a light that's shining on people. Because really, the story behind every success is hard work. And if people are willing to, you can have whatever you want if you're willing to pay the price for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot more work than people think.
Dude, we're gonna have you back on.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have you back on after you sell or after you get a renter in your place and you guys move into your next adventure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, you heard it all here from Jimmy, Mike, myself, Lifestyle Investing. Don't be afraid. Make some moves. Get a mentor. Put the hard work in, guys.